I have been using Ideogram AI art generator for many of my projects and also in many different ways, whether it's creating products, physical print-on-demand products, or digital products, or it's just creating backgrounds for certain banners that I want to do, creating the entire banners for social media, or even for my blogs and websites. And that's the topic of today's video, everything I do with Ideogram. In this video, I'm going to be sharing all the things that I personally do with Ideogram, but it's not going to be a tutorial style, more like a walkthrough, and I'm going to show you the different things that I designed with it, including products that I actually have right here, designed with Ideogram, including the t-shirt that I'm wearing, by the way. But again, it's not going to be a full tutorial, and if you do see one of the things that I do with Ideogram and you want a full tutorial about that, do let me know in the comments down below. One thing that will not be covered in this video are the ways that I'm using Ideogram for illustrating with Procreate. So everything I do with Ideogram for Procreate will be covered in a separate video. Now, I want to get this video started. I have a lot to say and a lot to show you, but I feel like I always forget to introduce myself. So, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Passive Income with May. I'm May, otherwise the name of the channel would make no sense, and we are talking about things that we do for our passive income streams. And for me, a big part of it is using Ideogram. For those of you who don't know, Ideogram is an AI art generator, and one of the things that I really like about Ideogram, other than the fact that you can make patterns, or that you can choose multiple aspect ratios for your designs, you can choose color palettes that they have already made, is that they have the magic prompting thing. That is my most professional way of saying it, the magical prompting thing. For example, I wrote a t-shirt design for people who love cats and got these 4 different designs. Now, I didn't write give me like crazy cat person or a cat's best life or my therapist has fur. I just asked for t-shirt designs for people who like cats. But let's say I really like the one that says my therapist has fur and I want to create more of that, whether I want to create it in different aspect ratios or I just want to create more variation. So when I click on that specific one, I can see the prompt that I inputted, which was again a t-shirt design for people who love cats, but I can also see a magic prompt that was created to describe this specific image, which is a vintage inspired t-shirt design featuring a fluffy Persian cat curled up asleep on a stack of books. The cat has long, luxurious white fur, and it goes on and on and on to describe the whole thing, including above the cat, the text "My therapist has fur" is displayed in a whimsical hand lettering script font, a playful nod to the comforting nature of feline companionship. So poetic. Ideogram is so poetic. And I feel like Ideogram actually likes cats in general, but yeah. Now, when I use this prompt again, I generated 4 more images that resemble the first one, and you can see them on the screen right now. Now, let's say that my niche was cats, and I really like the idea of my therapist has fur, but I don't like the whole books thing. So I kind of went in and changed the magic prompt into a vintage-inspired t-shirt design featuring a fluffy ginger cat with glasses sitting on a vintage armchair. Above the cat, the text "My therapist has fur" is displayed in a whimsical "wa la 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 la," and the background is a solid color. And that's when I got 4 other illustrations based on the original magical prompt that I changed a little bit. This is, in very short terms, why I love Ideogram so much. I can just put in a simple idea that I have. Maybe it's going to hit the spot, maybe not. But if I see something that kind of resembles what I want to do, I have the more extensive magical prompt to work with. Now, as I prompted to Ideogram, that was supposed to be a t-shirt design, which takes me to the first use that I have for Ideogram, which is print-on-demand products. Said while sipping from her print-on-demand mug. That was designed with Ideogram. There are 3 different types of products that I create using Ideogram when it comes to print-on-demand. And I don't mean t-shirt or mug. I mean the actual design on it. Some of them are just text, some of them are text combined with clip art, and sometimes I just make it a clip art and add the text myself. So let me show you how it looks like. The first thing I'll show you is a text design that I did called The 3 B's of Informing. This relates to my niche of human design and the sub-niche of a manifestor in human design. I typed in Ideogram a stylized illustration of the text, The 3 B's of Informing, bold, blunt, and bye-bye in bright colors over a dark pastel background, which it did not create a dark pastel background to any of them, but I got these 4 options and they actually look pretty good. There was one of them that I really liked. That was the one on the right corner. So I looked into it and I said, okay, I'm going to take the magic prompt from that and I'm going to reuse that again. And this is what I got. This doesn't actually look like what I prompted, but it looked good enough for me to work with. So I downloaded this design, uploaded it to Canva with the same measurements, removed the background, downloaded it again as PNG, and uploaded it to a website called BigJPG that I'm using to upscale my images because the images that you download here are approximately 1000 by 1000 pixels. There was a full video about BigJPG. I would leave a link to that one down below. Now what I got from that is that image basically without a background, but it was still a little bit faded for me and I didn't really like it. So with the Mac, I just opened the image on my Mac and I basically changed the colors of it, adjusted the colors of it. You could also do that with Canva and basically oversaturated the image and I got this. I love this one so much. It's one of my favorite mugs. I have this also on a hoodie. I have this also as stickers and it's one of my favorite products. Wine tumbler. There is going to be product review, by the way, of all the products that I chose to sell on my print on demand store, like the specific items. This is just a quick overview, and I feel like most of them are like mugs and tumblers anyway. Now, while a lot of people look at the background removal as a must-have for print on demand, a lot of print on demand products do not require to remove background. For example, this pillow, which was made using Ideogram with the other side as well. But in the case of what I'm doing in my shop right now, why did I not have this pillow in my shop? I really should add these pillows to my shop. A next product that I did with the Ideogram that wasn't a pillow is a design that I prompted an illustration of the text board certified pivoting instructor. And that was, if you are from the human design niche, this is for manifesting generator. And it created this kind of official looking design. I feel like a lot of times when I do stuff with Ideogram, it kind of gets my vibe and does it like Indiana Jones style. And of course, I made it bigger using BigJPG and used it for a laptop sleeve, as is. No background removal, no editing, just upscaled the image with BigJPG and placed it on a laptop sleeve. Now, the second thing that I told you that I like to do is text combined with clip art. So I chose a vertical design type. I think this was a 3x4 or 4x5, and I typed in a t-shirt design with the text, "Feeling satisfied today, don't ruin it." And I got 4 options as designs, and it added images, clip art to all of them. One was a cute little sheep, one was a cat on a sofa, the other one seemed kind of like a flower, one of those, we call them grandpa flowers, the ones that you just wish away, and one with a peach pumpkin. I don't know, but I really did like the cat one. So again, dropped it on Canva, removed background, downloaded a PNG with no background, and uploaded it to BigJPG to upscale it 4 times more so that I can place it on a journaling notebook that I'm also selling on my website. And I really liked how it looked like this. I found it to be really, really cool, even though I didn't mention the fact that I wanted a cat. Now, the last thing that I do with Ideogram for print on demand, not the last thing for this video, not by far, is that I'm using Ideogram to create clip art, and then later on Canva, I do the entire design myself. And that is the case with this pink cute cow that I created. I took that cow, uploaded it to Canva, removed the background, downloaded it to PNG with transparent background, uploaded it to BigJPG to make it 4 times bigger, downloaded it back to Canva, and created the text design by itself that says my mug has a cow on it, which makes it better than your mug. That was when I was doing the cow niche, and it's the mug that I use every single morning to drink my coffee. The wine tumbler, I guess. I'm using wine tumblers for coffee. What can I say? Now, that was not the only cow I made for that niche, and that was also not the only design I made with cows. I also created this design that says I have OCD, obsessive cow disorder. Notice that the clip art is a different cow, and I also used another cow with glasses that looks kind of official and wrote legendary. And I have that one too. I'm loving my cow merch. It's just like, I really do love the cow merch. It's just like that was a niche that I was really not into promoting. I don't know why. Sometimes I just like things for my own hobbies instead of just marketing everything that you like in life. Moving on to another cool thing that you can do with Ideogram, basically just creating backgrounds. I mean, you can type in like water wash, watercolor, blue ephemera style, whatever, and after you make loads of them and make them bigger, you can create an ephemera book. So this was a book that I created with Amazon KDP. Basically, the pages of it are only on one side, are only printed on one side, and there are different ephemera designs on them. For those of you who don't know why someone would want something like this is for scrapbooking and card making. You can also use these things when you're journaling. I actually made this one and ordered it for myself because I use a lot of this in my personal journal and in my planner. Some of them are made in different sizes, and it came out quite well. I really, really like how it came out, and I will be talking more about this specific book and how it was printed, along with another book that I have when I'm going to do the Amazon KDP versus Books by video, comparing the two, including the quality of the items. I know that a lot of you have been waiting for that. Moving on to digital products, and in this case, I first have to say, we created clip art, I could have just downloaded that clip art, upscaled it, worked on it a bit, and sold it as a digital product for other people to use, or even sold the backgrounds of the ephemera that I made for the book for other people to use for commercial purposes or for personal purposes. But what I mostly like to do with the Ideogram is create coloring pages. Now, for me, again, I told you in the beginning, I use Procreate a lot, so a lot of the pages that I will generate with the Ideogram are just going to be a rough sketch for me to use that sketch to later on create a coloring page. But let me show you what it does when it's only with the Ideogram. So we're talking about a coloring page that has no text on it. I simply wrote a black and white coloring page of a woman with long hair eating ice cream. That is the entire thing that I wrote. If I wanted something more specific, obviously I can use the magic prompt and create more, but that is the basics of it. A black and white coloring page of a woman with long hair eating ice cream. That was it. Now, I like my coloring pages with text, so I wrote a black and white outlines only adult coloring page of the text. I know I'm hot, I'm a fire starter, featuring a phoenix. This is a human design manifestor thing. It goes to my human design project. I think I generated this like 7 or 8 times until I found the one that I like. Now, I created many of those, eventually found 32 that I liked, upscaled them a little bit because, again, I want the printing to be in very good quality, dump them all on Canva, and place them in a frame photo on Canva. So it's going to have this black outline, and under each design page it basically says like the link to my website or something like that once people print it out, and it came out looking quite well, and I know that because I printed it myself. The files themselves I created on Canva for A4 for people who are not American and US letter sized, downloaded both sizes in PDF, zipped them together and uploaded them to my Fourthwall store. And never mind the fact that I wasn't coloring like very well. This was me like tired coloring. I didn't like bring out the pencils. This one I just stopped like at the beginning. It says unstoppable manifestor energy. This is just specifically for human design manifestors. I have this one. I don't fit in, I stand out. Actually, this one has an interesting like thing because it has like also like a texture. I don't know if the camera can catch it. It has some kind of texture in the background. So I actually printed them out to see that they are being printed well. This was the only one I finished. So I printed them out to make sure that they print well, and I'm selling this as a printable coloring book of 32 pages. Obviously, you can also do that with Amazon KDP, or you can upscale it many times and create a print-on-demand coloring poster, which I'm very much into those things, and I'm thinking I should add them to my shop now, and this video is going to give me so much more work later on. So much more work. As I said in the beginning, I'm using Ideogram for some of my products, but I'm also using Ideogram for so many other things. For example, let's talk about Instagram posts. Let's say the holidays are approaching. Just write an Instagram post with a background of a Christmas-themed pattern, and in the middle, the word sale in bold letters. And this is what I got. It was actually kind of good. I was actually really surprised. I think this was like last year before Christmas. Now, you can also do more complex things other than just sale and Christmas. So I wanted like a full text post, so I wrote a minimalistic image featuring a serene landscape with a calm lake reflecting a clear blue sky. In the center, a large white square with the text, "The key to happiness is knowing what is within your control and what is not." The background includes soft, muted tones of green trees and a subtle gradient sky with a gentle warm light casting a peaceful glow over the scene. It generated these 4 designs that are simply ready to use for Instagram posts. They all look quite good, to be honest. Now, while this is a cool thing, if I generate different posts, different topics on different times, maybe the text is going to look a bit different. So if I want something a bit more consistent when it comes to the font, or if I want to put my logo on it, I can just recreate this with Canva pretty easily with a background made with Ideogram. So I went to Ideogram and typed in a serene landscape of a calming beach during twilight. I got 4 options and downloaded one of them, this one that you see on the screen right now. And then I went to Canva, created a design that is 1000 by 1000 pixels, enough for an Instagram post, uploaded this photo onto Canva, used it as a background for my Instagram post, added a square, white one, in the center, I made it a little bit transparent and placed the text on it. The key to happiness is knowing what is within your control and what is not. Played around with it a little bit, and this is what I got. And of course, I could have added my logo. I could have added, the specific font that I'm using for my Instagram, but that is one way to do it, and it was pretty quick and pretty painless. By the way, if you like this video so far or found this content useful, please hit the like button down below, because every time you do that, YouTube thinks, hey, this is a cool video, I'm going to show it to more people. And subscribe to my channel for more tutorials about tools or passive income marketing techniques and ideas. I would also leave a link down below for Ideogram, my link to Ideogram, which gives you a little bit of a boost if you choose to go with one of their paid options, a little bit more credits to start with. Now back to more things that we can do with Ideogram, and one thing that I really like to do is Pinterest pins. Now, when you're creating Pinterest pins for products, most likely you're going to need, the actual product, a photo of you, or a mock-up. So I'm not talking about Pinterest pins for that. I'm talking about Pinterest pins mostly used to promote posts or other things written like a website or even a YouTube video. A recent example I can show you is that last month I posted on my manifesto publication a post that is all about human design manifestors versus their zodiac signs. It's a very, very niched thing. And I wanted to promote that post on Pinterest. So I created a 2x3 design because the ultimate image size for Pinterest is 1000 by 1500. And the Pinterest pin was prompted a Pinterest style graphic with the text, I'm a human design manifestor, but also an Aries sign. And the text, so what does that mean? And this is one of the images that I got. I actually did this with every single one of the zodiac signs, downloaded multiple images, uploaded them to Pinterest on their own Pinterest board, and they're promoting the article so far for me. I'm still working on Pinterest a little bit. I feel like I'm a big believer of Pinterest, and I've worked with Pinterest a lot in the last few years, and Pinterest has always been good. But since the change in tags of Pinterest, when you can basically choose tags from within Pinterest, I find it to be a little bit different with the niche that I have now, because human design is not one of the tags of Pinterest. So I might not be using Pinterest for this project, but I will still be using Pinterest for my other projects like my fabric shop or my other designs on TeePublic. And there will be a Pinterest video if you guys want me to make one on how to promote a blog using Pinterest or how to promote your products using Pinterest. Do let me know in the comments. Now, speaking about that blog post on Substack that was manifestors versus zodiac signs, I also created the image, the banner image for that, by prompting an illustration of the text manifestors versus zodiac signs featuring an endless astrology sky. That was what I thought of in that moment, and it came out looking fantastic. I'm using images created by Ideogram for most of my posts, like as a banner image. So for example, for another post that talks about the human design profiles as animal types, I wrote an illustration of a bunch of animals on a stage as if they have a comedy show. That one was a little bit interesting. I feel like the prompting is the most important thing in this video. The animals are a curious cat, a wise owl, a shy deer, a lonely wolf, a mischief monkey, a phoenix, and a dolphin. On the top of them, there's a banner with the text animals as profiles. And it got me the main image for that post, but not just that, because that post, again, detailed all the human design profile as animals. So I literally created an image for each and every one of them, like a cute cat breaking a vase and then investigating it, an owl giving a talk about how smart owls are, a shy deer in a magical forest, we have a wolf enjoying its own solitude, a funky monkey, and so many other animals created with Ideogram to basically make this dry article. I don't think the article is dry, I'm sorry. The article is fantastic, but to make it more interesting to read and to follow along, to make it a bit more whimsical, using images to share the concept or your idea. And I'm using it in Substack so much, even for some of the things for the Substack for this channel. Now, if you guys don't know what Substack is, it's an awesome free newsletter blogging medium style platform that is, again, free, and people get emails whenever you write a post, which is pretty awesome, and you can even monetize your own Substack account. I recently made a full video on what Substack is and a full tutorial, and I will leave a link to that one down below in the description, as well as a link to my Substack account if you guys want to sign up for the newsletter of this channel to never miss out on a video or never miss out on anything else that comes to mind, because I don't always make videos on things that I would like to say. For example, we started Q3 a few days ago, the third quarter of the year. Half of a year is already behind us, so I made a post on my Substack account going over the holidays that we have on Q3, going over all these awareness days, and also some of my goals for Q3. So I posted it on Substack. I will leave a link to that post down below. I think it's an important post for you guys to plan for your Q3. And I also found Substack to be a really, really cool tool whenever I don't want to film, because when I wanted to film that as a video, my voice was a bit cracking, so I couldn't do that. So I put it on Substack instead. That was a very long way to say that. I'm going to go back to Ideogram, because I'm not just using Ideogram to create the banner images or the images for my Substack account, but also for my website. So if I take, for example, Blueprint Reflections, which is the current project that I'm working on, and I go into one of the pages, for example, the page about understanding your design. So there is the 5 human design types explained, and you can see these glowing balls. These glowing balls, that is something that I never thought I would say on YouTube, glowing balls. Okay. These glowing balls were prompted, a magical themed image. We can see a wonderful forest. In the middle are 5 glowing lights in different colors: white, red, green, orange, and purple. And that was the prompt I used to get these glowing balls for that image. Now, if we scroll down on that page, you can see also human design profiles, where you can see like a glowing number images that I also made with the Ideogram. The following image after that, which is of the body graph, was not used by AI. This is just a normal body graph for human design. The definitions, I basically prompted a woman that looks like she has like a circuit board on her. Then we have the authorities, which is the way to make decisions. So I put like a person and then wrote choose wisely. We also have an image for environments and an image for digestions. Now, I used Ideogram so much for the images, not just again products, but for the images on that website. Feel free to go check it out, blueprintreflections.com. The website is live, and it's a Fourthwall website and shop. Maybe you want to check it out because you want to see what I'm doing. Maybe you want to check it out because you like human design, or you just want to see the Ideogram parts of it all. The link to that will be down below. Now, as I mentioned, this is a Fourthwall shop, and there was a full video about what is Fourthwall in case you're interested, as well as a video that showcased what I plan to do with this niche moving forward. What is the structure of my project? Because it's not just let's go to Ideogram, make a bunch of designs, and then we're gonna be rich. This is not how life works. This is not how print on demand works. This is not how anything works. The fact that you're gonna go and create coloring pages and make an Amazon KDP coloring book doesn't mean that someone's gonna buy it. And the fact that we now have AI tools doesn't mean we're all gonna get rich. We still have to know what we're talking about. We still have to find a niche that we're passionate about, create products that people from that niche are gonna be interested in, and consistently show up and do that for a long period of time for it to actually become a brand and not some kind of clickbait mantra. Oh, I didn't know I had that in me. Now, if we're looking at that website, I just want to say a good website needs a logo, and you can also make logos with Ideogram. For example, I just prompted a logo for the brand Bake with Love. That was literally the entire prompt, and I got these 4 options from that prompt. I kind of like this one the best. I feel like it's super cool. And to be honest, if I have to go back a little bit to the print-on-demand products, if you really want a clean design for a print-on-demand product, tell Ideogram that you want a logo. That is just a tip from me. Now, as I said, the logo for Blueprint Reflections was created with Ideogram, but not entirely by Ideogram, because I do have my own font and my own design language that I wanted to follow through. So what I did is creating the icon for Blueprint Reflections with Ideogram and the prompt: create a small symbolic icon, abstract representation of a human figure within a sacred geometry shape, like a hexagon or seed of life, conveying the idea of a personal blueprint and inner reflection. Clear vector style, colors, soft green, and the actual color code. Slate blue, the actual color code. Black and white, ideal for use as a favicon or app icon, no text. And that is how I got that one. Now I took that specific logo, took it to Canva, removed the background, and used that icon as the O for Blueprint Reflections. And also for the favicon of the website, and probably also for the image of that on Instagram. But this is a very detailed way of using Ideogram by literally telling it the color codes that I want to use, because these are the colors that I'm using on my website and I wanted it to match. Another cool thing that you can do with Ideogram, and this is the one before last, is to use Ideogram to create source images for Repr. And for those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, you know that Repr is one of my favorite apps. I haven't used it in a while because I've been knee-deep in this new project, but I'm not forgetting it, and I'm probably going to go back to it and do some really cool stuff for Spoonflower. But in the meantime, for those of you who don't know, Repr is an app that takes an image, a source image that you provide, and breaks down that image into insane amount of different tiles. So what images can we use for Repr? For example, this image that I created with Ideogram, by simply prompting plaid illustration in green. The flower was a nice addition. I also created this image, watercolor abstract background image in pink and dark blue, and this image, an abstract illustration of lines in different colors. Now I uploaded them all to my Repr app, and I basically, well, had fun moving around the selection, changing tiles, changing the photos, just browsing around and seeing what looks good, because seriously, you can do so many things with Repr, and this is by far not a Repr tutorial. There was a full Repr playlist. I will leave a link to that one down below, but there are so many different types of patterns that you can do with these source images or with any source image, create collections that kind of look like they go together. Even seeing how these patterns look on mockups before you download them, just to get a glimpse or a feeling of how they would look on actual products. Now, these images that you made with Repr can be for print-on-demand products or to be used as, selling digital products, just literally selling these patterns or these backgrounds, or you can use them as backgrounds yourself for things that you're working on. I will leave a link down below to a video of everything you can do with Repr, and of course a Repr discount. Last but not least, one of the things that I do with Ideogram is create YouTube thumbnails or create elements for my YouTube thumbnails. So for example, there was a video that I made about creating Pinterest pins and Instagram posts using AI, and the thumbnail for that video was created by me prompting a YouTube thumbnail with the text, "This is a marketing game changer. There is an AI robot holding a Pinterest pin and an Instagram post." And that's how I created the thumbnail for a video that tells people how to use AI for social media. Very meta of me, I know. Now, I usually don't use Ideogram to create my thumbnails for YouTube as is. I have my own font that I use, and I have my own style, and I usually have a photo of me in the mix as well. However, I did recently create an image using Ideogram of a tombstone that says print-on-demand marketplaces, and removed the background, placed it behind me in a thumbnail, and that was for a video that talks about the decline of traffic when it comes to the print-on-demand marketplaces. It was not a clickbait thing. It was a 3 years research following their traffic and changes. And if you guys are interested in that, I would also leave a link to that one down below. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, I use Ideogram for Procreate a lot, but I feel like that part of the video will be much more relevant for people who are using Procreate. So I will make a separate video about that because it's much more extensive, and I would like to have my iPad with me and do things right. I would love to know in the comments down below if you do want to watch this video on Procreate, if you are using Procreate, or if you want me to make a separate video on any of the things that I mentioned that I'm doing with Ideogram. But with that being said, that was it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new or at least entertained. I'm going to leave 2 links on the screen right now, one for the full Substack tutorial and another one with what is Fourthwall in case you guys are interested. Also, loads of links in the description down below. I hope you'll have an amazing beginning to Q3 of 2025, and as usual, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!